to Vegas. Massoudi was paid through his private company Atlas nearly $250,000 to do the same job when he was the Premier's principal secretary. Yet this government has refused to answer questions on just exactly when that contract started, so I am going to try again. My question to the Premier is, can you finally clarify when the contract with Atlas Strategic Advisors started?
Someone said blah, blah, blah.
The government House Leader.
I'll answer again, Mr. Speaker.
I feel like it's him.
The contract started after Mr. Massoudi was no longer employed by the Premier's office and after he reached out to the Integrity Commissioner to clear the work.
Supplementary question?
It's a simple question that merits a simple answer. Speaker, when did the contract start? People want to know, Speaker, because the Premier's office told media that the contract started on, and I quote, about July 1st, 2022. And that matters, because through an FOI, the official opposition NDP obtained documents that show Mr. Massoudi was going to meetings as the Premier's principal secretary as late as August 23rd, 2022. That's a 2-month overlap between when Mr. Massoudi started billing the taxpayers through his company and while he himself was still on the government payroll.
Wait,
so
what?
back to the Premier, was the Premier's close friend paid twice to perform the same
He's
work?
gonna just say no.
The government House Leader.
BS.
The final supplementary.
Speaker, it really shouldn't be so difficult. It's not just the dates that were sent out.
Okay, order. Member for Brampton North will come to order. The member for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke will come to order. The member for Kitchener-Conestoga will come to order.
Oh, y'all are getting so
We're
upset.
just getting started. Restart the clock. Leader of the Opposition.
Bit cranky today. Speaker, it's not just the dates that we're concerned about, because while Mr. Massoudi's company, Atlas Strategic Advisors, was billing the Premier's office for speech writing, that same company was lobbying the government on behalf of numerous private interests related to the Greenbelt grab. In fact, the Integrity Commissioner has been looking into this. They've been, and I quote, looking into Atlas Strategic Advisors for allegations of illegal lobbying since June. So, Speaker, back to the Premier. Why was a close friend of the Premier awarded a contract to write speeches at the same time that they were actively lobbying this government?
Right to the core.
Member for Hamilton Mountain will come to order.
Heck no.
Government House Leader can reply.
But really, the standing ovation really
Where's
isn't
Dougie?
for me, right? It's not for me. The leader of the opposition says that I'm cranky, but why would I be cranky when last Thursday there was a motion in front of this House?
Oh, look at this deflection. Not even mention it now.
And you know what happened, colleagues? 100% confidence in the government.
66 people voted out of 124. So that's not 100%. Everybody else abstained, it seemed like.
One member of the opposition stood in their place to vote against the government. Not once.
That doesn't mean they support you.
Confidence in the government. It was an historic vote. But colleagues, that has happened once before in the history of the province. You know when that was? In the last parliament.
We're engaging in a conversation here. The Government House Leader has the floor. Yeah.
Sure, Speaker, I'll go through you to them, because had you been able to vote, I'm sure you also would have had the exact same
What a waste of time.
government that 100%.
This guy's really great at deflecting.
Mr. Speaker, it was an historic vote. I appreciate the confidence from the leader of the opposition.
Somehow it got to this, even though it was, you know, asking about that corporation that is illegally lobbying the government. And look at them, they're so proud of themselves. It's like, good job at, you know, being oppositional government where, you know, we attack the opposition and try to keep them on their toes instead of, you know, answering questions.
Another question for the Premier. Today, Ontario Place for All is filing an injunction to stop
He's never there
environmental
until
measures of
later,
Ontario Place, including
after
the
the direct
destruction of
questions.
800 mature trees. The clear cutting at Ontario Place should have been part of an environmental assessment, but the government conveniently exempted it, saying it was a privately led development. Speaker, it is abundantly clear the Ontario government is running the show at Ontario Place, so an environmental assessment should have been done. So will the Premier order a full environmental assessment of the Ontario Place project?
And to respond, the Minister of Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, we've conducted 2 environmental assessments, one on the site servicing work that is necessary in order to make sure that we can have tenants on the site. And Mr. Speaker, good news, we actually completed our Category C environmental assessment on Friday. It will be made public. It is shared with the public, Mr. Speaker. But what's most important, we are bringing Ontario Place.
Why aren't these
back
captions
to life.
working?
No one goes to Ontario Place anymore. The site is deteriorating.
Why is
the site
that?
is flooding. In fact,
'Cause you guys
Flood
let
Nation
it-
had to cancel its concerts back in 2017 because of the flooding issues. We will make sure that we improve the shoreline. We will make sure that there will be lots of activities for families to do at Ontario Place. If it was up to the NDP, they would do nothing. They
Like
would
you
let
guys
the site
did?
deteriorate unless-
You guys, that's exactly what you did. You did that. You didn't put any money into it. Same with the Science Center. You're such a you project so hard.
Sign a 95-year lease. In fact, Speaker, the government's hands are all over the Ontario Place redevelopment. They're so hell-bent on this private luxury spa that they're ignoring municipal bylaws, claiming they don't apply to them. The government is threatening to use provincial powers to expropriate city land to rev their luxury spa project through. The government is trying to have it both ways. Will the Premier stop the environmental destruction at Ontario Place and order a full environmental assessment?
Members, please take their seats. The Minister of Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what Ontario Place looks like right now. First of all, it is mostly paved. It's mostly paved. The marina is rusting. The island is flooding.
Why is that? You guys haven't been in power for 5 freaking years. Why were you not taking care of it?
That is just the reality of the situation. And Mr. Speaker, we have a competitive
Opposition, come to order.
process where Therme,
Yeah, okay, nobody else got it.
participated and was successful. And now
Helping
there will
involved.
be an active tenant on the site that will contribute to the annual maintenance of the site to make sure that it does not fall into disrepair like it has done under their watch.
Who's been in charge for 5 years?
Ontario Place.
You're such a liar.
Back to life with wonderful activities.
No, your party never does anything
Make sure
wrong.
that we bring
It's so
the site,
insane.
to good
You're
standards
insane.
So that families can enjoy it for years and years to come.
Stop trying to sell the sale of Ontario to the people of Ontario. Like it's a good thing, and it'll be good
In
for
fact,
them.
Speaker, 2.1 million Ontarians visited Ontario Place last year.
Ooh,
That's
so
more.
stupid.
Yeah.
More than the Eiffel Tower?
And it's flooding, so the government solution is put in an underground parking garage. I mean,
Yeah, really, though.
everything about this deal is fishy. This government has gone so far above and beyond for this luxury spa company, it smacks of preferential
'cause they bought
treatment.
his
They're going
freaking-
out of their way to avoid scrutiny. They signed a 95-year lease with Therma, but won't share the details with Ontarians. They're putting in at least $500 million into this, and it seems like it was all a setup from the beginning. The deal reeks. So to the Premier, do we have to wait for another Auditor General report or the RCMP to get the details?
Probably.
Members, please take their seats. Minister of Infrastructure.
Everyone here knows that the people that do go to Ontario Place are going there to enjoy the concerts provided by Live Nation. And Mr.
What the
Speaker,
fuck?
included in our redevelopment plans is a brand new stage that will be operational all year round so that the public can enjoy more concerts at Ontario Place.
Even in the
And Mr.
winter?
Speaker,
Oh, shut up.
if my memory serves me correct, I mean, the City of Toronto just passed a motion asking for the Wellness Center to be moved at Exhibition Place. But do you know what one of their arguments was for that? Oh, because there's parking. Parking is a necessity when it comes to tourist attractions. Wonderland.
Order.
Every tourist
Because you guys don't
attraction,
plan on getting rid of
the
any
zoo
kind of
has
pollution.
parking. We want to make it
polluting
as
things.
accessible for people so that the mama from Scarborough with 3 kids can make it down to Ontario Place to enjoy.
Oh yeah, the NDP are against everything, aren't they? They are against everything. They're never build anything in my back or near anything or something like that. Build absolutely nothing near anything.
A prominent landscape architect who designed Trillium and Tommy Thompson Parks has withdrawn his support from the Ontario Place redevelopment project. Mr. Kim is speaking out against the Premier's environmental vandalism at Ontario Place, including the clear-cutting of 800 mature trees and the habitats that they support, in order to make way for a government-subsidized private luxury spa. The Auditor General has already announced an investigation of the Ontario Place scheme, and now Mr.
Oh yeah, we'd be paying for the freaking resources they're using.
The harm this project will cause. Will the Premier halt his environmental?
So obviously the Premier of Ontario thinks that, you know, you can afford to pay for this, Ontario.
Once again, Minister of Infrastructure.
Well, they say, sorry, Ontarians, we don't have any social assistance for you. And sorry, Ontarians, we can't afford to build houses. But we'll build this shit. And fucking highway nobody wants. Except for what? Your land speculators? Developer buddies?
To enjoy. We will have aquatic habitat, wetlands, and improved water quality at Ontario Place.
Bullshit.
And again, to reiterate, Mr. Speaker, we will
How will it be better water quality?
And enhancements to protect the island for generations to come, so that our children, our grandchildren have a wonderful place to go all year round.
Bull.
Mr. Speaker, to the Premier, the plan that you have, there was no environmental assessment, and your plan is actually to cut down, to clear cut 800 mature trees and destroy the habitat.
We'll put some baby trees up, don't worry.
And other wildlife. And
for them to die, right?
Assessment because this is just because the government announced just before they announced the call for the Ontario Place redevelopment, it made regulatory changes that exempted this project from the Environmental Assessment Act. Did the government make those changes so the public would not know the truth about the environmental vandalism the Premier was planning at Ontario Place?
You know it.
Members will take their seats.
F off.
Minister of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To add to my previous comments, we will be adding a 6-to-1 ratio on trees.
Yeah, but they're all not mature.
A 2-to-1 ratio for small.
It's not gonna absorb friggin' CO2.
On Ontario Place, once fully redeveloped.
You guys, no. That's not okay.
Mr. Speaker, let's ask what their plan is. Do you know what the plan of the NDP is?
Let it come.
Do nothing.
That's not what their plan is, you assholes.
Don't build highways.
Stop telling me about what other people's plans are. You can't even tell us what your plan is, actually. You won't show it to us. This is corrupt. People that voted them in, or didn't vote, you need to vote. And you need to, people need to start thinking about what it is that they support. Because this is destruction of our friggin' natural environment.
Member for Brantford Brant has a question.
They think they can just replace mature trees with baby trees, and that's okay.